Yo, what's happening, everybody? This is Kyren Monteiro coming to y'all with some dope content, man. I don't know what we gonna call this, but I got a real good homie of mine, Ronald Morrell Jr. What's happening, man? This is the CEO of Morrell Scooters, CEO of Elevated Events. Got some real estate going on. Real good dude, man. I've been rocking with this dude for the last decade, real close. Always knew who he was, but we've had a real dope relationship for the last decade. So, yeah, y'all make a round of applause for the homie, man.
Man, I appreciate you for having me on, man. You know, this is your first episode, man, so I'm looking forward to supporting you, man. I really believe in what you got going on, what you're doing, so let's make it happen.
You definitely do, man. Ronnie has been a huge supporter of myself and anything I've been doing in the last decade, man. So appreciate you, man. So let's dive into it, man. Tell your story. You born and raised here, man. Came up in the church. So, like, give people who may not know you your background and how you came up.
Yeah, man. So, like you said, my name is Ronald Morrell Jr. from Marion, Indiana. Yeah, born and raised here. Born and raised in the church, you know, and I grew up playing music in the church at a very young age. Grew up on the drums, and coming from a black Pentecostal church, you know, it's always like you got to be ready, so you don't know what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I always played drums and eventually learned how to play piano. So yeah, man, that was like a lot of my upbringing, a lot of church, man. I mean, I'm from Indiana, so a lot of basketball, a lot of music, man. So that's kind of a brief synopsis of my upbringing.
That's what's up, man. So I always knew who you were, but I got real cool with you in 2012, back when I was going by The Messenger. For those who don't know, I'm historically known as a Christian hip-hop artist. My former rap name is The Messenger, and I needed a drummer. So I was doing the show at this youth camp, and seen this young brother who was killing it, and it happened to be my brother Ronnie, and we got cool. So, like, explain that time period of how because you was just getting your start, really.
Yeah, man. So at that time, man, this was 2011, 12, something.
That was 2012, summer of 2012.
Yeah, man. So I was super, super dedicated to being a drummer. That's what I want to do my whole life, be a full-time musician, full-time drummer. And, you know, Kyren is formerly known as The Messenger, was killing it, right? So he was touring, and he ended up hitting me up one time. I think the event was God Belongs in My City at the park.
It was actually Miss Gwen Evans. That's because you had a church choir, your own church praise team at the time.
Yeah, okay, I remember. Yep. So we did that, and then the one that I remember, like, it was like a lot of people was out there, was the God Belongs in My City joint in Matter Park.
That was our first event together.
Yeah, it was our first event together, man. So, I mean, that was super dope, man. So I'm super excited to be a part of that. And we did a lot of touring, man, for, I would say, I don't know if it was a year or 2 year run, maybe longer than that, maybe like a 3 year run.
About 2.5, 3, yeah.
Yeah, we did a 2.5, 3 year run, like, every weekend, hitting different places all across the state. So, I mean, that was a good time, man, and it was a good experience. Got to meet a lot of people, learned a lot of business stuff, learned a lot of people skills. And I mean, that's definitely something in my life that I would say has helped propel me to where I am today.
So people look at you and they think Morrell Scooter is your first business. That's not your first business.
No, man. So my first business, man, my pops actually started it for me. I was 16, and I always been really into shoes, right? So my pops used to give me money to get Jordan and stuff like that. And then one day, he was like, you know, I'm not really giving you no money anymore. So what he did, he went out and bought me a leaf blower, a push lawnmower, and then my grandpa had a riding lawnmower in the trailer. So my dad went and bought the other couple pieces I need, and a weed eater, bought a weed eater too, bought the other couple pieces I need, and went out and got me some customers and, like, gave me a receipt book and was like, all right, here you go, here's your business, and don't ask me for no more money. And then to this day, I just turned 29. I don't think my pops never gave me no more money after that, you know what I mean? So it was just, he gave me the tools on how to go out and make money for myself. And after that, man, I was 16 when I was running my first business. Like the first year, my dad ran the books for me because I really didn't understand that part of it. And I was just out doing the work, like cutting the grass. But then my next year, when I was 17, I was running the whole business myself, doing my own customer acquisitions, and customer retentions. And at one point in time, man. So mind you, I'm 16 and 17. In the summertime, I'm running up like $500 a week, working like 2 days. Doing this lawn care, so everybody else was like had jobs. I was working like Monday and Wednesday, making $500 a week, and I was 17. So at that time, that's when I had that old school
Mercedes.
And then I had the Mercedes, and then I went and got that Range Rover because I was for summer I was breaking it in the summer. Like I think my highest summer in 2 months, one time I made like 15,000. I was running it just off of cutting grass, and all because my dad put that. That entrepreneurship spirit in me really early. So I was able to, I ran that business, man, from 16 all the way until I think I was probably like 20, 22, something like that.
So
I let it go.
So let's hang around there for a second. So there's many layers to what you just said. So first off, you come from a family of entrepreneurships.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. So my grandfather is the patriarch of it all. He started Morrell floor covering. So I didn't come up with it in a traditional way. I got photos now that I'll share sometime on social media of me at 3 years old running a jackhammer, like taking up ceramic tile, and like every spring break, summer break, all the other vacation times that we weren't in school, I'm working, So we get out of school. I know the whole week I'm laying floor, laying carpet, every kind of floor covering. So when I used to hate it, like growing up, I promise I hated every aspect of it. But they used to tell me, like looking back, that you'll need this or want this one day. So now, one thing I always say, I'll never be broke, because if everything I got going on fails, I can always go and put some flooring down. It's hard work, you know what I'm saying, but I can always go back to that. So I'm really thankful that for all those times and all the stuff that we did. But it definitely wasn't fun at the time, man, to be working that hard at such a young age. But they definitely instilled some stuff in me. So yeah, my grandfather started that. And then my aunt has a couple businesses. She does some real estate, and she also owns Anytime Fitness here in Marion. And my dad has a couple businesses. He does businesses, does real estate. He started Morrell's Fish and Chicken, and he also purchased the old Boys and Girls Club on Clark Street and doing some stuff with that. So man, it's running in my blood, man. So
running in your blood. So now you got a wife, you got a daughter.
Yeah,
about to have another one
any day, man.
Any day now. And if your grandparents, but more so your father, didn't instill that hustle and that into entrepreneurship, drill that into you, then you probably wouldn't be a business owner of several businesses today. So now with you being a father, having your own kids, wife, and continuing that legacy, what is the importance of parents instilling things into their kids at an early age?
Man, as of right now, I'm around the kids a lot, man. One thing that I've noticed is the parent involvement is like, I would probably say like 95% of the reason like kids are the way they are. So like for me, I'm thinking of, cause my daughter's 2 and my other one's about to be born here any day. And a couple exercises that I want to start doing with them. Starting from the very beginning, my first daughter, Olivia, she's super social. So when we go out, I'll make her use that to her advantage and say, hey, I want you to go, when we go into a restaurant, wherever we're going, work this room, go up and introduce yourself to everybody. So don't be afraid to talk to anybody and get that skill down and really own it. Another thing I'm going to do is, because reading and literacy is super paramount, man. And instead of like having my kids do chores or stuff like that, I want to have them read books, and as they complete the books and turn in a report, that's how they'll earn like an allowance or stuff like that. So I really want to get that importance of reading, and they can get compensated for being intelligent as opposed to being a worker, and they get compensated for that. So I really believe, man, that doing everything as a parent, it also makes me nervous too, man, because I know how great my upbringing was for me. Is like I got to be able to at least, it's being a parent is tough, man. So I definitely want to do all that I can for my daughters and raise them to be, strong, God-fearing women. But I just, it's a learning process, man. Something I think about every day and realize the mistakes that I make and try to correct them and try to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Seeing your come up is dope. Like, I know you always had greatness in you, but knowing you as Ronnie the drummer, right? And then coming up to where you are now as a community leader and just an entrepreneur and just everything that you got going on as a man, period, is crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I knew Ronnie was a hustler, when we was touring, Ronnie had started building his own brand up because he had seen other drummers. Like, you was talking to the Craze drummer, you was talking to Sticks from Muncie. Like, Ronnie had always been networking, so he was talking to other drummers. I think you had got an endorsement from a drum company at one point, in that time period. Yep, yeah. And so Ronnie was really working on building this brand. Ronnie is the only drummer in history I know who was selling posters at my merch table.
Hey, man, by any means necessary, man. I'm out here trying to get it, man, all time. Any means necessary.
Listen, they coming up to buy my T-shirts, my CDs and albums and posters and all of this stuff. And then here you got this brother saying, yo, you want to buy my poster for $3?
Hey, bro, I was hustling. I can't remember who. I think who's a Jiffy Print made them for me. Them joints was like 75 cents a piece, and I was selling them for $3. $3
to $5. Matter of fact, you selling them for $5 at one point.
Hey, man,
the return on investment was great. So let's kind of shift it a little bit for people in Marion, Indiana. Really anywhere, but I'm gonna apply this to our city, Marion, Indiana. What is the importance of young entrepreneurs in Marion? Because I feel like within the last 3 years, we've seen a new wave of entrepreneurship within our age group. I'll be 32 in May. You just turned 29 on Easter this year. So
not as old as you yet.
You said what?
Not as old as you.
Shut up, man. This dude been calling me old since I was 24, dog. This dude is terrible. So, like, what is the importance of entrepreneurship within the young adult, middle-aged adult age groups? Because we're starting to see more people, I would say from basically from kind of 21 to 50. What is the importance of people getting their hands dirty?
Man, I would say from the pandemic, man, people realize how quickly your job just wasn't enough. Just having a job by itself wasn't enough. I always liken it to a table. You know what I'm saying? If you got a table with one leg on it and somebody chops a leg off, the table's going to fall. If you got a table, with 4 to 9 legs, somebody cut one, you will feel it, but it's not going to be the same effect. So that's how I look at my streams of income. Like, I try to get as much stuff going as possible to bring me money in. So if somebody hit me with cut one of my legs off, I'm never going to stop, and I'm going to keep rolling. So I think that encouraging people to be, to be entrepreneurs is not saying, quit your job and just go out here and just, hope for the best. There's obviously different ways to go into it, but I definitely think that, man, everybody should have some kind of business that they're doing, even if it's not their full-time career.
Okay. That's what's up, man. We fresh off of the heels of the Grant County Economic Growth Council Investor Achievement Awards. Myself got honored for Frequency Canvas. You got honored for 2 or 3 different businesses. Which ones did you get honored for?
So I got this year. I got my second award for Morrell Scooters and my first award for Elevated Events. I'm in a partnership with that one, so we got an award for Elevated Events. Okay,
and then Keenan Davis, who owns the State Farm Agency, here got honored, and then even though she wasn't in attendance, Kanisha Townsend, who owns Uplift U Boutique here downtown Marion, also got honored. So that's 4 different young black businesses that got honored this year in 2022. In total, 5 different entrepreneurs that are involved in that. So 5 young black entrepreneurs and business owners got honored. What do you think the weight of that is? as far as like where Marion is and is trying to go?
I think that young black entrepreneurs stepping up, and because I mean a lot of people have visions, you know what I'm saying, but it's the ones that actually take those visions and make them reality that we're talking about in this situation. So everybody who got honored had a vision for their business and actually stepped out. I would call step out on faith, and was able to, excel to the point where, because you have to explain to the people what the requirements are for the award. So the requirement is that you invest a minimum of $25,000. So it's not $25 million, but it's still something, So
let's be real. Mm-hmm. Most people ain't got $25,000 sitting around.
It's definitely a significant amount of money. So honoring people who are willing to step out and on faith and really invest into the community, invest in the Marion, because I think that it's contagious. When other people see you investing in Marion, and now they want to pursue their dreams. I've had countless people tell me, man, in person, emails, text message, Facebook Messenger, however kind of way people reach out to me, is like, oh man, I see what you're doing, and it's really inspiring me to do insert blank, whatever it is that they want to do. So that's really one of the main reasons I do what I do and do it the way that I do, is to make sure I'm inspiring other people, to let them know is like, you gotta pursue your dreams. God has called everybody here, put everybody here on this earth, and put everybody specifically in Marion, Indiana for a reason. So if you're not moving forward and walking in that calling, then what are you doing? So you can't waste the talent that God has given you. It takes me back to the story in the Bible with dealing with the talents. My man got one, other person got 5, another person got another number. The person who got one talent. So even if you only have one talent, you got to go out and use that talent and produce and make another one. So if God is giving every person that's watching this one thing that you're good at, and you got to go out and use that. Don't just hold on to it and don't not use it, because God can take it away, obviously. So my encouragement to everyone is, no matter what your talent is, go out and make something happen with that and come back with 2.
Man. That's some wisdom right there. And so you brought up faith, and we'll tap into this real quick. We're both believers in Jesus Christ, Christianity, discipleship, followers of Christ, many different things that, how you can describe it. How does faith in Jesus and your Christianity, how does that play into entrepreneurship? Because I think a lot of times the church has been segregated from culture, from entrepreneurship, from community service. It used to not be like that, but it seems like now the church is not seen being a part of, some of the major areas of what it takes to build a community.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm really passionate about is, faith and entrepreneurship, and I teach a lot of kids or anybody who wants to know like what it looks like for those things to intersect and move forward at the same time. So I came under my grandfather's a pastor. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So I watched him, pastor a church and also run a business at the same time, and how you can honor God no matter where you're at. So it's not just when he's preaching on Sunday, but when he's laying floor or doing whatever else he's doing, it's that that same man that God has called you to be. Especially if you know him, he'll preach to you anytime. You know what I'm saying?
That is, and your grandma, both of them.
But so
shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Morrell.
Yeah. So what does it look like to be a minister, no matter where you're at? Because I believe as Christians we're all called to be a witness. So that's not nothing you can just turn off or turn on. When God has done what God has done for us, no matter where we are, whether we're on the pulpit, in the pew, at work, no matter where you work at or running your own business, we're always called to be a witness of what God has done for us and what he can do for others. So often those two things are viewed as separate, like church and entrepreneurship, church and business, but my outlook on it is where those things intersect and all the things that are in common between both.
What's funny, man? A lot of people don't realize is that the oldest, different business entities, you got LLCs, you got S Corp, C Corps, sole proprietors, general partnerships. You got different kind of business entities in America, but the oldest one of them is being incorporated. Being an S Corp or a C Corp, and originally that came from the church.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I read this online. Now I had to refer to source, but if I'm not mistaken, it came because the church needed a way to be taxed.
Okay.
So when we talk about the church the church and business not going together, it's like the church take up money every Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, so now, that's a whole other conversation. But I definitely think, let me dance around how I say that. Everything is a business.
Yeah.
Everything is a business, and whether people want to admit it or not, everything is a business. So yeah, that's how that's how I answer that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, man, we ain't gonna drag it out too much longer, man. I'm proud of you, proud of all the things that you accomplishing here in the city of Marion, Indiana, Grant County, Indiana, just abroad. I think that we need more people to step up.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've seen you support people behind the scenes. Whether people know it or not, this brother actually supports a lot of people. Just because you don't see everything don't mean that it's not being done. But man, we proud of you, man. As a community, we got your back, and we rallying behind you. You know, as a brother, I got your back. And support this brother. If y'all are in Marion, Indiana, any of his cities, he owns a scooter company. What cities are those in? Man,
we're in Marion, Gas City, Wabash, Anderson, and we should be back in Huntington soon.
Okay. So all of those cities that's 7 cities, right?
5.
That's 5.
Yeah.
But you in 7 total, right?
We should be here in the next couple months.
Okay. So right now he's in 5 cities, and make sure that y'all get out and support. I need to do a better job at riding them scooters, especially if you in Marion. We need to do a better job as a whole support Morrell scooters because it supported the community. Elevated events downtown Marion. Y'all book some events. It's super nice. So nice. The Economic Growth Council had the Investment Achievement Awards there. Yeah. And you just had a big major corporation book, right?
Yeah, man. They booked again, man. So Anthem, which is like the basically corporate, it's an insurance company, and they have an event coming up here May 3rd and 4th and 5th, and they booked another one in August. So that's dope, man. So now I'm really excited, man. I'm really appreciative of all the support that I've received for every endeavor that I've decided to dive on, and ones that I'm currently getting into as well. I really appreciate the support of the community and all that's going on. One last thing is encouraging, man, for everybody watching is that first step is always the hardest. So the step from 0 to 1 is way harder than 1 to 100. So I'm just encouraging everyone to step out on faith and make that first step. Then the rest of the steps are a lot easier. But if you didn't get anything else today, just be encouraged and take your first step. I mean, because really 0 to 1 is infinite. You know, there's a whole bunch of numbers between 0 and 1. But after you hit step 1, the other steps kind of start rolling. So just be encouraged, take that first step out the boat, or whatever you want to call it. Take your first step today.
Hey, before Ronnie in, let's just say this real quick. So when he's saying step out the boat, that's when Jesus was talking to he talking about Jesus and one of the disciples, Peter. And so Jesus challenged Peter to get out of the boat and walk on water. It's a pretty famous biblical story. But the point of the story is as long as Peter was looking at Jesus, he never sunk.
Right.
But the minute that he took his focus off,
go down, man.
Start to go down. So that's a challenge to me. That ain't really for nobody else. It's really for me. But hey, man, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to, I don't know, the Kyren Monteiro podcast show or whatever. But man, I'm gonna just be sitting down having some dope conversation. And the whole point of these is we want to add value to people, whether it's faith, culture, or entrepreneurship. We want to give back because there's been so many people who have poured into us freely. So many people, and so we want to do the same. So salute to my city, man, Indiana. Salute to everybody doing something. All the visionaries rise up and make something happen, man. All right, y'all be safe, man.